This is T-Shirt Joe from FastCustomShirts.com, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there's my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben the Hillside Strangler Harley.
That's me. Wait, no, it's not me.
Gotcha, busted.
Yeah, damn it. All these years I find yeah. How you doing, Slippery?
Yeah. Good thing we record this show a week before you hear it. You have time to get out of town.
Yeah.
And change your name.
I better break camp, beat feet, Timo.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
That's right. So Mr. Ben Harley,
yes,
I have finally had like a week where I didn't have to play a gig. I didn't have to go out of town. I didn't have to host a television award show. I didn't have to help anybody move. I didn't have to have a Christmas party, although I still got one coming sometime. There was one that was left in the dust. And now I have to have it again. So I'm telling you right now, it's like I finally had a week. So Mr. Ben Harley, unfortunately, I had a quiet week. You did not. You did not have a quiet week. There was a beating that happened during your week. The professional wrestling style of beating. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, there might have been a couple other beatings. Who knows? You never know. You got to dole out a beating every so often.
The one you remember.
Passers-by. Yeah. Oh, okay. Right, yeah. Yes, sir, Timo. We, once again, the Circus of Pain has defended the title there. So I guess defended is probably the better word. Retained is the word.
That is the word. Yes.
I was looking for. So yes, we retained the title, my friend. Poor Kevin. Poor Kevin got pile drived again. On the outside of the ring. Yeah, geez, I wanted to help him.
Right.
I really did. But there was a gentleman that come running out, and I want to call him a gentleman because I don't want to get hit by this fella. But there's a guy came out of the wings. He was dressed like he looked kind of like a SWAT team guy, but he had a skull type mask on.
What?
Yeah, he came out of nowhere.
A Death Wheeler?
Yeah, Death Wheeler, and poor Kevin happened to be one of the guys in his path. So,
oh no!
Yes. The 5 least wanted. Let's just say they came out and helped a little bit with the Circus of Pain. But like I told them, they better stay out of our way.
Right.
Right. But yes, so we still have the title, my friend Tim. Yeah. So it was a good night, though. Yeah, it was a really good night. Good crowd. I made up a couple new shirts, some Power Bomb shirts, and then. Nice. We did some shirts for the Bachelor Ben Boone for the Bachelor pad, and we did some for Ray Orndorff, Mr. Fantastic himself.
I thought he's a ref.
He is the ref.
He's a popular ref. Huh?
He used to be a wrestler, So then, so it was nice. It was a good show. I'll be posting some stuff here soon.
Nice.
As soon as I can get my grubby hands on it.
Right. And then the television program is still going on strong. What time channel is that on up there in the Toledo area, Mr. Ben Harley?
Like Channel 24, Timo, on Saturday nights at right after Ring of Honor Wrestling. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, my friend.
Right. Well, that's the wrestling block then, right?
It's better than no o'clock.
Right. Well, and then people are watching Ring of Honor. They're obviously wrestling fans, so they're going to watch. And they're not necessarily big-time WWE fans, so that might be a perfect time for you. Now, also, the potentate of hate in the Circus of Pain is going to be making a convention appearance in Cleveland, too.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, we are. Yes.
At the Retro Invasion Weekend in Cleveland. I don't know the dates.
Cleveland.
It's the end of May, right?
Beginning of June. May. Yes, end of May.
Very last day of May, first couple of days of June, I believe. That is up in Cleveland, Ohio. So we're going to have the Circus of Pain. We're going to have Intruder being celebrated up there. And then, I'll just be there.
We might have a little bit of Kevin.
Oh, Kevin
in the part of the.
I feel like somebody smoked my crack with. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Nice. In case one of our pipes breaks, then we have the other one to lean on. So it sounds good.
Right. Yeah,
sounds good.
I wouldn't leave you hanging, Timo.
Right. Well, Mr. Ben Hart, like I said, I finally have had a slow week, so I got tons and tons of stuff here to go through that I watched.
Okay.
But first up, real quick, now. Been talking a lot of I always tease I saw so and so, I saw Commissioner Gordon on Perry Mason after watching a movie with Alan Napier in it, right, and stuff like that. So Perry Mason, I think Perry's been watching me.
Yeah,
either that or MeTV is being creepy and listening to my cell phone as well. Not just Amazon and Facebook. Now it's got MeTV listen. I do have the MeTV app. Mr. Ben Harley, so it could be listening.
It's a possibility. I wouldn't put it past him.
Right. So now I told you a couple weeks ago I was watching the Boogans, right?
Yeah.
And I made a nice little crack about, we had the Aldo Nova guy, the Henry Fonda guy, and blah, 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 and that. So now Perry Mason's right around cigarette o'clock for me. Because me and the NGO at that point, it's 10:30 our time. So me and the NGO at that point are usually settled in watching a movie, and I get a little nicotine fit. And I always find a neat little joke. We get time for a smoke. It's not really hard. The era of films we watch, Mr. Ben Harley, couple people smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't forget very often. It's pretty easy, okay? So every time I turn I pause whatever we're watching. I'll flip back on the TV while we are walking away from it. I just don't let it sit there paused in suspended animation. I feel bad for my television doing that. It's like making it hold its breath, Mr. Ben Harley. I can't do that. So... Now, Perry Mason's always on. He's always on whenever we do this. So I sit down, I look, and I'm waiting for Angie to come back upstairs, and my jaw starts dropping. She comes in, she says, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Oh my God." She's like, "What?" I go, "I'm pretty sure that military guy who's on the witness stand." Yeah. Now, remember, this is old black and white, right? This is my early 60s or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Henry Fonda guy from the Boogans." And Angie's like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." I go, "Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Look it up, Mr. Ben Harley. It was Med Flory. Indeed, the Henry Fonda guy from the Boogans was getting grilled, Mr. Ben Harley."
Oh, yeah.
By Perry Mason.
You don't want to get grilled by Perry Mason.
Angie was like, "You picked out Tiny Tim, and now you picked out the Henry Fonda guy." I was like, "What's the same face? It's the same guy." Angie goes, "That was like a 25-year difference on both characters. They do not look the same to me at all." Like, well, I got an eye, Mr. Ben Harley. You got an eye, my friend. I got a wicked eye.
You got two of them.
Yep. There was some wicked eye. There was some stink eye shit going on in our official films this week. We're going to talk about some stink eye. So my stink eye is picking out some non-famous actors on television.
Yeah.
So I swear to you, I'm always right about 75% of the time. Sometimes I'll go, "Holy cow, that's Squiggy." I'm like, "Oh, no, that's a Hungarian woman. Never mind." But most of the time, I got it. So
Let
me dive in here to stuff I've watched real quick. Let's see here. From 2015, Mr. Ben Harley. 2015, we have the film Legends from the Sky. Okay.
Legends from the Sky.
Legends from the Sky. So I'll watch this on Amazon. Now, this is a Native American alien abduction, old one's hot mess.
Okay.
Hot mess. Yeah. Boy, this is one of those movies, how should I say? I don't know how to say this without sounding like I don't want to sound. This is the kind of movie that the 90s liberal in me wants to root for. Let's put it to you that way. The encouraging side of me really wants to like. It is a Native American film about aliens out on the reservations and stuff. And it ties it into some of their folklore, the sky people, and this and that, and it's like one person at all time or a couple people are seekers or protectors of this ancient knowledge. And of course, the evil United States government is just acting like a bunch of, I'm telling you right now, they're acting like the mafia on a pissed off day. You know what I mean? Like it's just government evil the whole time.
Evil.
Well, you want to root for the movie because it's interesting to see a movie that's all native, pretty much all Native Americans. It's all this like, Unfortunately, it's like I said, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Native American.
Well, I can't, and I hate saying this. I'm just going to speak plain, okay? I'm not trying to speak hateful. It's just something I can't help but to notice in this film. Like, I don't know if the people couldn't act or if they were doing that stereotypical Native American accent.
Okay.
Like, I do not know where the people go to. I'm like, is it because he can't act, or are they trying to sound like that? But it's almost like the whole cast kind of sounds like that, except for these super westernized people in the film. So it gets a little distracting because it really does make it feel like the Native American actors can't act, but something tells me they were being directed as such. I really wanted to like it. I can't say I did, Mr. Ben Harley. I mean, it's like I said, boy, what an interesting story too. It's just the guy, the main guy is like he's an military guy, and he's a war hero, and so it plays into the government trying to like squelch him getting this information about aliens or spaceships and stuff. So, and the main guy, that's the main government baddie. Boy, he's just a dick. And then his like henchman is like one of those like flippant dicks. He's like more like a kind of my guy's like, he'll walk by and punch you in the face, go, thank you. He's just one of those nut jobs or whatever. But Mr. Ben here, I cannot recommend it, but it is a little fascinating. Just put your eyes on and be like, this is a little different, but it's not very good movie.
Okay, that stinks.
Yeah, if
I need a good alien movie. I haven't seen a good one lately.
I think it's almost like a movie made for Native Americans, where it's kind of goes over your head. That's what it feels like. That's probably the best way to explain it. I think it's a better movie than I'm perceiving. It's just not made for me. That's what it feels like, unfortunately, because I really wanted to like it. But oh well. Hey. Let's see.
They can't all be, Timo. They can't all be made for you.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can, Mr. Ben Harley. Yes, they can. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, a documentary, Mr. Ben Harley, on Amazon Prime. The Strange Life of Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
So this is a really well-made documentary about the story of Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. Now,
the monster?
Well, at first I wrote down watch with an exclamation point. It's a cliff notes to the book. Well, then I got through more of it and then said, hang on. Actually wrote down, hold on. The horse. It bogs down a bit, and there's some inaccuracies and contradictions in this thing. It's just people talking about the book and the story and stuff. And it's, like I said, very well done. Even some reenactments, I think, that they produced that are actually pretty good. Well, they have stuff like one guy's talking about how, well, in the story, the monster was beautiful. It was perfect, beautiful. I'm like, what? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at all. And then the next person be talking, well, then the creature frightens the whole town. Well, look, if Brad Pitt walks into like Millstown, he's not going to frighten the whole town. He might get him hot and flustered, but he's not going to frighten him.
When Timo shows up in town like that.
Why do you think I moved out of town, Mr. Ben Harley? I care about my neighbors. I care about my folks in my town.
You don't want to hurt them no more.
No, I don't want to. The husbands were upset enough of me. I'd go to the grocery store. It seemed like all the wives in town went at the exact same time. I did. I always wondered what that line of cars was outside my house on Wednesdays. I wasn't sure about that. So and they helped me pick out my asparagus and squash and stuff like that.
Yeah, they like to squeeze your melons.
They did. They picked them out for me and said, "How does this one feel?" And I'd look over and go, "It's kind of soft." Ooh. Anyway, Mr. Bennett, I'm sure I got to that point. But anyway, it's got some parts in it that are okay, but it's okay. It's all right. It's definitely better than listening to people trying to rationalize why they call the monster Frankenstein. They do make a lot of points that the monster has no name, and that that's a big part of the whole deal. Yeah. It doesn't have a name. That's part of that's part of what you feel sorry for it about. That's part of its pity. Yeah. The pity you have for the creature. That's the whole point of the whole story. But don't let me lay knowledge down aimed by Mr. Ben Harley.
I'm
just sitting here minding my own business. Okay, moving on. From 1959, Mr. Ben Harley.
What do you got?
Let's check this one out. Watch The Great St. Louis Bank Robbery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, starring Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, 1959. It's got a little bit of a Beat Generation feel to it. A little bit of that. But it's a little slow. But for me, for someone who lives in this area, it was kind of neat to see a 1959 St. Louis. And to kind of pick out, like, where they were shooting a lot of it's really close to where Ultraman practices and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was kind of neat. The actual street that I drive on was what the bank was on. So so it's kind of neat. Kind of neat to watch really that. Cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
But if you're from Toledo and it's 2019, not sure if 1959 St. Louis is going to get you all jizz and jazzed. Not sure about that.
Well, you know me, Tim. I'm
That's why I said that.
I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Right.
Real fun to hang out with.
Right, yeah, yep. So now you just stick with episodes of MASH so you can hear Klinger make Toledo.
Right.
Toledo comments here. So,
sound good.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley from 2018. Man, I'm watching some new stuff here. Watched a movie again on Amazon Prime called Butterfly Kisses.
Butterfly Kisses. Okay.
Now we got a new one for you here, buddy. We got a new one for you here. Okay. This is a fake documentary about a found footage, unfinished film.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's.
It's a fake documentary about a guy who finds an unfinished fake footage film.
Wow, someone's breaking new ground there.
Yeah, they just dove one layer deeper into this. Now the main boogeyman in this movie is a character, which is not a bad idea. A character called Peeping Tom. And Peeping Tom is a Slender Man type of rascal. This was shot in Maryland. So it's basically a found footage within a found footage film. It's okay, but it really doesn't totally satisfy. And they do some things that make you try to believe it's really real. Like they got Eduardo Sanchez from Blair Witch Project. He was one of the creators of that. They have him on there, like not saying this is real, saying this is fake. So they actually have him on there going, I've made a lot of found footage movies. I know what I'm seeing when I'm seeing tricks and stuff, and this isn't real. Yeah. So they really try to kind of pull the wool over your eyes in this one. It's like, you know what? It's okay, but it really doesn't satisfy. Really doesn't satisfy. It's got it's got some neat. What's neat about it is the legend. So basically, here's a legend. It's a cool legend. Let me real quick. So there's this train tunnel. Okay. And if you go at midnight and if you stare down this train tunnel for an hour without blinking.
Wait, I can't do it.
That's the whole point of it all. That the Peeping Tom will appear to you. But you can't blink for it. So they get people over trying and it takes them, they get 7 minutes in, they're on their knees, trying to and stuff. They actually get a guy who claims to be a stare contest champion. Almost checked out at that moment. Almost checked out of the movie at that moment. But they get a clever idea and they set up a video camera. Oh. And they shoot it for an hour starting at midnight. So the legend is if you can do this, every time you blink, he starts out way far away from you. But every time you blink, he gets just a little closer. Oh. Until he's right into your face where you can feel his butterfly kisses. Which is why the movie's called Butterfly Kisses. So it's kind of a creepy little thing because they really do. That's the neat part of it. Every time you blink, so you got people, I can't blink. I'll get closer. He's right on me, and stuff. But anyway, like I said, it really doesn't satisfy. It's got some good moments. It's one of the better movies I've seen like that, but it's still not totally great or anything like that. Let's see here. Moving forward, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here. From 2001, I watched a Valentine because it is the Valentine's Day season around this time. And
you were thinking about your Valentine's, The Circus of Pain, weren't you?
A little bit. Actually, I was thinking about a movie I hadn't seen for a long time. Didn't even realize I was watching this close to Valentine's Day. I didn't really. Honestly, I swear to you, I read an article that said that it was like movies you should go back and check out that you've probably never seen. Yeah. Now, those are hard for me because they're talking about movies that I've seen like a dozen times, and stuff. They're not for me. But Valentine was on the list, and I remember thinking Valentine was just one of those post Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer murder mysteries, like modern giallo movies or whatever. So I watched it, and indeed, that's all it was. I'm not really sure what sets it apart, except for the fact it has David Boreanaz in it. I guess he was in Bones and Angel and stuff like that. And I think ladies like him. I don't know Mr. Ben Harley. Not a lady.
He was in Buffy, I think. The
Vampire
he was.
Slayer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
forget what his name was.
It was.
I wasn't a big Buffy fan.
She's
Philip.
Cute. Philip. No, I don't know.
I think it was Roger.
Was it
Roger?
Name him Roger. Let's see here. Yeah, see, I did not like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I found her like I wanted to fix her nose, and I wanted her to get I wanted her to eat something.
Yeah, you want to give her a sandwich?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's like you waif. I mean, look, a sardine on a saltine is not called a pizza. Okay, eat something for the love of all it's holy. Anyway, moving forward, Mr. Ben Harley. Okay, I'm getting closer to some things that you might want to comment on. First up from 1982.
Ooh, 82.
Not one, two.
But two.
Watch Creepshow.
Like 82. Yeah?
Yeah.
I like some. Oh, that's a good one. Buddy.
Yeah.
That's 82, huh?
It is 1982. Okay. Yep.
All right.
I'll tell you what. Now, I've seen this movie lots of times. I'm sure. I know you've seen it lots of times too. That's one of the good, fun, more popular ones that went around. It's written by Stephen King, directed by George Romero, and I think Romero and King were good for each other. I really do. I think they were kind of better together than not. I mean,
than separate. Yeah, for sure.
I told Angie we were watching this. I said, you know what's great about this movie is that it's written by Stephen King, it's directed by George Romero, yet it does not feel like a Stephen King story.
No.
Nor does it feel like a George Romero movie. The only George Romero part is the E.G. Marshall short with the roaches. That feels like Romero to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But the rest of it doesn't.
That's such a creepy one, too. That, that one's kind of forgotten. No one really talks about that one that much.
Yeah.
And it's just, that part was just, it's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones, too. It's hard to watch, especially if you don't like bugs.
Oh, my God. Angio has such a phobia for bugs. She was hiding her hands in her face. It was just,
because it's just so much that you actually, that's one of those scenes and stuff that you actually like, you think there's something around you. You eventually like, oh, my God. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, at some point, it might catch you where you're like, oh, I got something on me. Like,
right. Well, she was asking me, doesn't it bother you? It's like, well, it's a movie. I've seen it a few times, I was like, but would I want that happening to me? No, I would not want that happening to me. Nor would I want a knife going through my brain either, but I can watch that and I'm okay. So I don't really, the distinction to me is kind of hard. I mean, usually I'm still kind of, I don't know. I think the really getting kicked in the balls is still the only thing I'm like, oh, God. Anything, or maybe a flick to the balls. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Just everything. Just go away. Just kill me. So, but it did have fun watching it. But I did make that observation. I really did think it was very cool that it was done by those two guys. But it didn't feel like either one of them. So I thought that's a cool.
That's cool.
Cool little mix, but what a terrific movie too. My favorite is The Crate.
I love it. Yeah, it is too. It's like because Adrienne Barbeau's in that, right?
Oh yes, boy. She's a meanie.
She just plays it so great. Just so great.
Hal Holbrook. Him and was it Fritz Weaver?
Yeah.
I mean, just that's the two of them. Like, dude's probably about our age. They look old, but I'm thinking about going. Nah, they're probably right me and Ben's age at this point. That's probably how we look to the world now, and I'm not happy about that at all. But
no, me either. But you know what? That one holds up, I think, too, doesn't it? I think
it's kind of a monster. It's kind of a monster movie, but it's also you think it's kind of a Yeti, and then they kind of shifted over to a monkey Tasmanian devil. They call it. Stuff. It's like neither one, but I'll take the monster part of it.
Oh yeah, I love that one too. It's just it's so good. I like Creepshow.
Yeah, it's so good. We had a lot of fun watching it. It's been a little while since I've seen it, so I was like, yes. And I mean, the Ted Danson and Leslie Nielsen one. Where Leslie Nielsen,
that's good too.
He's such a good dick.
Oh, he does. Woo. And that part's he's just so mean. You're like, oh God. But then when they get him back is awesome.
Yeah.
I like the colors too. That's got my colors in that in Creepshow. Like when the really weird bad stuff's going down. It comes out with the reds and the greens and the blues, I like that.
Yeah,
like
with the kind of comic panel it out.
Yeah, kind of. They get that real mod or bright colors.
Yeah, to accent the moments. I think it's kind of probably to take the edge off a little bit. This clearly was made for more of a mainstream audience.
Sure.
It's got like that goofy kind of comic feel to it, which just was getting started around that point. But
it was something different at that time. People weren't doing that, not like that.
Good times though. Good times watching it. Let's see. Got a couple more. Yes, got a couple more here from 2018. Watched The Predator, the new Predator movie. Believe it or not, directed by Shane Black, who played Hawkins in the original one.
Really?
Yeah, that I did not. That one didn't cross my eyeballs. I didn't know that beforehand because I was kind of looking it up, seeing what's going on.
That's cool.
Here's the good about it: it's a direct sequel, and not some of this reboot shit. This is like a direct sequel to, I would say, even Predators. I think it's just a sequel, so I do like that. And you know what? It's not. It's pretty good. It tries, I think, to kind of take pieces of other Predator films and kind of make you familiar. Make you feel welcome and familiar. But man, it goes too far. It starts going too far. And look, our good friend Jimmy Lips, DVD Bob Slendorm, we got 100 names for him or whatever.
Yeah.
He kind of he really wanted me to see this because he wanted to talk to me about it. And I haven't talked to him about it since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I kind of understand what he's saying. It's like, it's not a bad movie, and then it just jumps the rails. It just goes like, it's not the worst movie I've seen, but it just becomes way too much of an action movie and like completely implausible, and it cannot be watched again for me. I probably won't watch it again. Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, like I said, it's not satisfying. I mean, it just doesn't, it does its thing. And there's basically a new Predator, like a badass Predator. And it kind of tells you what the Predators are here for. So that's mildly interesting. But then again, it's really not. Okay. So it's like, okay. And then look, here's the thing. There's like a spaceship that comes in on, of course. And then, so you're watching, and it's in a jungle or like the woods, I think in America. So, I mean, they're not like in South America or something this time. They're just like in the Rockies or something like that. And they find the ship and everything. And then, like, the ship takes off, and the dudes jump on top of the spaceship while it's taking off. And they hang on to a shiny disc-like object. It's just, you're like, what? And then it just gets stupid. And they have a kid in it who's like mildly autistic, I think. Yeah. And they like them. And it's really cool to like, it's kind of, in the 80s, you just straight up exploited and made fun of. Now you wear the banner of, we're exposing these people and we're being inclusive. Nah, you're still being exploitive. You're still being exploitive. You just think because you're goody two shoes that we're not going to see through your bullshit, Right. But so it just all feels a little bit like, I don't know. But man, when the dudes jump on spaceship, I'm like, all right, that's it. Yeah. This isn't the Avengers. It goes to feel like a comic book movie, like the Avengers or something. Yeah. And it's luckily it's toward the very end, so you didn't suffer through the whole thing. But it's one of those deals where you're like, well, okay, all right, I've seen worse. Oh, come on. And luckily, the come on movie or moment is pretty close to the end, like 10, 15 minutes toward the end. Let's see here. 2 more, Mr. Ben Harley. 2 more. Yes, I did not tell you this. You have watched this. I think you want to talk about it a little bit, but I, believe it or not, watched Solo.
Dang, did I forget that? I still haven't seen the ending. Now tell me, you fill me in.
Nah, okay. I ain't telling you.
No. Damn it. And I've been meaning to finish it. All right, lay it on me.
Well, I mean, it was more. It's these movies are starting to feel like typical sci-fi action movies to me.
Yeah.
That's what they're starting to feel like. And what really kind of took me back a little bit, I don't know if you noticed this, but it was directed by Ron Howard.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow, I'm missing a lot of stuff. I guess I should pay attention to those credits or the words that they throw at me.
I don't think they had it in the beginning. I don't think they had who directed it and stuff. I don't think they do that in Star Wars movies anyway. But no. I did miss the ticker at the beginning. They didn't have that the old serial ticker, the floating words.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, type stuff. So I missed that, but I'm with you what you were saying. The guy is playing Han Solo. There's even moments where it sounds like Harrison Ford's voice. I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, he's
and he's a good actor. I didn't mind him. I just could not suspend disbelief enough, I guess, to believe he was Han Solo. Whatever. It is what it is. I mean, I just kind of wish they'd have found someone that looked a little bit more. I would have taken a lesser of an actor.
Yeah.
But that's me. Whatever. Well, it's not that big of a deal. I just, but it was hard for me. I guess it's because growing up with these characters, when we first saw them, what I'm saying? It wasn't like these movies that have been out 20 years and then I saw them. No, man, I don't know. It's hard for me. I don't know. It's weird, I guess.
Right.
Well, I can't. I don't know. Even the one guy, and I was real happy about the guy that played Lando Calrissian. He used to be in the TV show Community, which I liked. Glover's his last. I can't remember his first name, but I was like, wow, that's a great choice for Lando Calrissian. I still couldn't see Lando Calrissian. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
I have a hard time with the prequels that way.
Well, he sounded like Lando, and then and then like a little bit his voice did. Like when I would turn around and like I would hear the voice, it sounded like. And that guy playing Han Solo was fairly similar to. I didn't really have a problem with the act. I didn't really have a problem with any of it. I mean, here's what I have. It's the technique these days, Ben Harley. I'm telling you, when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, am I watching a Star Wars movie that is mostly shot in natural light? Because I'm tired of it. Every movie now looks brown.
Yeah.
It just looks brown. I mean, what was I watching? It might have been that, actually, where I couldn't even dial my TV in so that I could see it, where it looked like it was punchy or anything. I just God, it just looks depressing. I mean, it does. It's like, I don't know. That's why I think part of why I love movies from like the early 80s and stuff is that they lit them real good with good shadows, with good colored lighting too. They used good, I don't know. It just worked better. And now it's like, since we have all these new digital cameras and whatnot, you can get away with a lot less lighting. It's not that they're not trying to light a scene correctly. They just don't have to do it the same way they used to. And it suffers to my optical enjoyment. I don't like it. I hate it. It just feels like, and then I don't know, like when they found Chewie and stuff, I was like, okay, all right. Like all of it was okay, but it sort of reminded me of watching, I don't know, the first 3 Star Wars movies, and people are like, God, it was great. It's like, it's going to happen, right? I mean, you've seen these characters on down the line, right? You know that Anakin Skywalker is not going to die, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi's going to live, right? I mean, he can fight this dude all he wants with these lightsabers and just in the nick of time to save himself, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I've seen what they've CG'd in and out of the later movies. I know it's going to happen, but this one was sort of like that. It just didn't set itself apart. Star Wars movies used to set themselves apart, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, and they were different. They broke new ground with techniques and story, which, I mean, come on, some of that story, it's Greek mythology, okay. But, for that time period, it was breaking new ground it was doing stuff that others just didn't. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I didn't mind this movie. I thought it was okay. I just didn't really, I don't know. That's where my optical enjoyment comes in, Timo, is when I can't enjoy, because I cannot suspend disbelief. I don't know. I feel bad. I want to go back and finish it. I know I only got a couple minutes, and I said then plus I'll probably watch it again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think right now I like that Rogue One. I still think
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I still think that's the best one that they have done as of recent. And then maybe the first whatever one I don't know. I can't. I
agree with you. I think that one was okay, and this one was kind of. It ain't a bad movie.
No,
I mean, I don't really have like I can't really pick out one person I had an individual problem
it's
with.
It's a problem for me. Yeah, it's just it didn't tickle my fancy.
No,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I like. That's what Star Wars movies did. It made you go, whoa! Like I don't know. And well, yeah, he met Chewie and stuff, and that was okay. But it wasn't like, oh my god, this is cool. I'm watching something like. So epic that I've wanted to see all my life. No, it didn't really. It just did. I don't know. Fell flat.
I personally think that we need at least. I mean, give me the same story, but give me different characters.
Yeah,
a different setting.
Sure.
There's only so many stories you can tell. But
sure.
Jesus, come on, let's try to let's restart this again. Let's.
Yeah.
When Star Wars came on, it wasn't a sequel to a damn thing. You know, as a matter of fact, Star Wars is not unlike a movie like Hateful Eight or something, where it's like a Western or something, where it's just playing with genres. Western. Yeah, it's like playing with genres and stuff. So there's a little bit of that going on. You know, like a Tarantino thing, a lot of winks and nods. And Spielberg did a lot of that stuff too. They were a little more subtle. Well, I don't know if Raiders of the Lost Ark is super subtle when it comes to the serials. But I'm just saying, like, these were all, like, new characters and new stories and things. And I'm kind of into that. And I think, the 80s was littered with that. It was littered with, like, the late 70s and the early 80s. That's why I think I also gravitate. Not only do I like the way movies looked back then and how they were shot and directed and the pacing of them, I just think that the people were coming up with, I mean, look, there are a lot of failures. A lot of failures around then too. We've seen The Being.
A lot.
Yeah, we've seen The Being. We've seen Motherload. We've seen a lot of, but they tried, and it was there was always something different, and there was always a reason to watch. There's always something you either hadn't seen or something weird in them or something like that. I'm not seeing it. I'm not, and I don't. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm just going to give it a C. Just like it's not worthy. It's not a horrible movie yet. I don't think worthy of a Star Wars movie. But there's about a half dozen movies now that I don't think are worthy of Star Wars movies.
I like the girl in that Star Wars. What's her name? I liked her in Solo. I don't know. Something about her.
You are straight, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that I think you were straight. Yes, but
she was cutie.
There's, what? I actually think the Ewok TV movies were better than these that are coming out. And I mean that sincerely. It's funny as fuck, but I sincerely mean that I really do. Like Battle for Endor totally even kicks Rogue One's ass. Sorry. I just think it does.
Yep.
Anyway, Ben Harley, you say you didn't watch much this week?
No, I didn't watch. You know what? We went a little long there, Timo. So I did watch a couple things, but I'm gonna go real fast and real quick. Okay. So let me whip this out.
Whoa! Let me duck.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Timo. A couple things here, buddy. Yeah, I watched a documentary about Haystacks Calhoun.
You gotta be shitting me.
No,
I actually wrote down Ben Haystacks Calhoun Harley for next week. Now I gotta take it off.
Now you gotta take it off.
No, I'm gonna keep it. You'll forget.
Yeah, keep it.
You'll forget.
Yeah, I'll forget. Yeah. So yes, I watched.
I swear to you, I'm looking at it. Here,
I believe you.
I'm looking at it. It says Ben Haystacks Calhoun Harley.
Yes.
Damn it! You're watching me too.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, Timo, it's on Prime if you want to watch it. It's not real long. I think it's about a 45-minute little documentary. What's nice about it, Terry Sullivan from Powerbomb Wrestling, who was our commentator, he's actually on the documentary too.
Really?
Yeah, it's one where Haystacks Calhoun took on Killer Brooks at Cobo Hall.
Okay.
And Sullivan's the ring announcer.
Now, that's a documentary where they talk a little bit about him, but they show a lot of his matches, though, too, right?
Yeah. Mostly his matches, and well, I guess I just want to speak a little bit on. I saw Haystacks wrestle. I know who Haystacks Calhoun was, but I did not know the importance of Haystacks Calhoun to the other big men in wrestling. And I like the big guys in wrestling, I do. I the Kamalas and
Jerry Blackwell.
Yeah. And he was a big influence because before there wasn't really anybody like that before him. Now he could move for a big man too and stuff like that. So, but coming out of watching the documentary, I found a much bigger respect for him and the influence he had on the big man in wrestling. And that's my thing. I like those guys. I like the King Kong Bundys and stuff too. So it's a good documentary. I mean, it's, you know, it's not like you're going to jump out of your seat by any means watching it, but it's good. And God bless him. God bless him. And God bless the influence that he had, which I did not realize at the time. So, yeah. So, great. Haystacks. One last thing, Tim. Haystacks Harley. Yeah. Haystacks Calhoun. But yeah, good stuff, my friend. One last thing. I just posted a video on Facebook, a trailer for this upcoming movie called Goalie. Okay. And it's about the story of Terry Sawchuk, who was the goaltender for the Detroit Red Wings back in the day. He also held the most shutouts until Martin Brodeur from the New Jersey Devils beat it. He held that record for the longest time. I'm really excited about this. It's not coming out. It will have no release here in America. I think they are showing it in Canada. They have a limited release. It doesn't look like it's a real big production. But the fact that they're making a movie called Goalie, for me, is awesome. These guys got awful injuries playing goalie, awful injuries. So they finally stuck up for themselves and decided, hey, no, we're going to wear these masks. I don't care what you think, you know, and they should have been able to at that point. Someone's going to die. Let's put it that way.
Now, is this guy in the movie Goalie?
Yes.
That did this? Okay,
Terry
so
Sawchuk.
Okay, so he's the guy that got the mask thing going then.
Sorta, somewhat, yeah. Okay. This movie goes through his life, talks about his life, and he did have somewhat of a tragic life. He died when he was 40. He got into a fight with one of his teammates, and got, I don't know if his teammate got a hold of his goalie, say whatever, but basically beat him to death in his front yard of his house. Yeah, it doesn't, the trailer doesn't really go through too much of that. I'm sure there will be in the film, but it's a tragic story. It's called Goalie. It's about the life of Terry Sawchuk. Nice. It looks good.
Let's get on to our official films, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see.
3 hours later, right?
Yeah, this week. I tell you, it's Pissed Off Ladies Week. That's a pissed off ladies in this movie. Week.
Oh,
finally, some strong women in cinema, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah,
finally.
I mean,
1933 starting out here, you know?
What's all this empowerment stuff we're talking about? These girls were empowered. Yeah, 33.
Jesus, the woman in this first movie must have had a vice grip, too, by the way. Jeez. Let's get, again, from 1933, we have the movie Supernatural.
Yeah.
Starring Carol Lombard and Randolph Scott.
Randolph Scott.
I have to sing it after watching Blazing Saddles 50,000 times. Let's get that movie guy, give you a short storyline synopsis here of Supernatural 1933. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
A serial Black Widow murderess returns to life in the body of a young woman to exact revenge on a former lover, a phony spiritualist who betrayed her.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Right. So apparently this woman is like the Mad Strangler.
Yes, she is. The Hillside Strangler.
She's like Mrs. Voorhees. I mean, and she's tough as nails.
Oh, she is, man. She is a tough broad. That's what they call a tough old broad. Young broad, actually.
Exactly. So, yeah, she gets talked into doing an experiment for science or whatever. Right at the exact same time, Carol Lombard and some people are having a seance.
Yeah.
So basically, the original female Mad Strangler, her spirit possesses Carol Lombard.
Yeah.
And then Carol Lombard can crush like rocks and turn them into coal with her bare hands and stuff at that point too.
Yeah.
Because what did I say about the original murder? She's tough as nails.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeez, criminy Nelly, man. You know, I swear to God, she was grabbing on to Randolph Scott. You know, he's like, Carrie Grimes, Carrie, help me. You know, so 1933. Now, this was directed by Victor Halperin, who, believe it or not, did White Zombie, and also did a lot of B movies. like Revenge of the Zombies, some other like more forgettable public domain stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Black and white you've seen around, but White Zombie's the one that
he's known for.
Yeah, that I always kind of remember him by or whatever. Admittedly, this is one I have not seen before. I haven't seen it, and which is why you have it, because I discovered it. I discovered the film somehow, and probably rooting around on IMDb, found it. Sure. It's like, oh, I haven't seen that. What on earth? You know, so of course I had to buy it up and send it to
Blu-ray and then the digital version and 4K.
Had to send it to my pal, Mr. Ben Harley, so we could review it. So what'd you think, Mr. Ben Harley? What'd you think?
Not too bad, Tim. It's there's not a lot going on in this film as far as like mystery, or you pretty much know what's cooking.
Right.
And it's funny because it starts out real like, it reminds me of one of the old cartoons, like with the not Wind in the Willows, but some kind of like a Halloween-y type thing going on at the beginning. You know, it's like, so I was interested right away. Now, as simple as that sounds, I was just like, oh, we're in for something. You know, you get a little, because you know how I am with the opening credits. You got to hit me. You got to get me. You got to hit me, man. You can't expect me to. I came to the theater to watch, not to read, my friend. That's why I'm at the theater. So I love the spoken word, Timo. So, anyways, I was in.
You're a simple man, a common man.
Yeah,
yes.
the woo had me going. So I was ready to go,
Good.
And then it shows right off the bat. Basically, it made me read a little, but it had like a newspaper headline of the Black Widow and how many people she killed, and then there was one, I don't know. I paused it because it it said something about her, like, and killing her lovers and something, and then it stops. It's so funny because. And they cut it too, the way they framed it. It stops like right with Raucous Orgy. Raucous Orgy. I was like, whoa, in 33? Now that might have just been some necking or kissing with a couple more than
you
two people in the room.
Love to me. Yes.
Yeah, it might have been with more than two people in the room kissing at the same time or whatever. I don't know, but
this is right around that pre-haze code. So this is what they're pushing the envelope a little bit here or there, like little moments.
Oh, you wouldn't have seen it unless you paused it or whatever. I hear you. Like, so I was like, ooh, wait a second. So she's in. So this lady, she's bad. She's bad. She's like a bad, like woo bad. Yeah. So, and what I liked about it, because she would play real docile or whatever.
You mean the actual killer woman while she's in jail?
Yeah. What is she? She swindles the cops somehow. I apologize. I forget what she does, but like when they leave, she goes back to being her mean old self, and that's when she crushes that cup. She has that tin cup, and she's laughing.
Right.
And she crushes the cup, and you're like, oh man, she is a strangler.
Yeah. She's got a vice grip, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
She's got.
So there was a little foreshadowing there, Tim. Yeah. They showed a little bit there. So she ends up being put to death.
Right.
Yeah, her ex-lover, who is a seancist. He starts right away trying to swindle the blonde.
Oh, Carol lady. Lombard. Roma.
Yeah.
Roma.
Roma, that's it. Yeah. So he now did Roma's husband or father pass away because she came into some money?
Yeah, she became a millionaire. Her brother died. Yes, her brother died. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they get a note saying that her brother is trying to reach out to her through this spiritualist, and that she should meet with him, right? And then from there, the ball really gets rolling. Tim. I love it when they go to his place and he has all his little tricks. But there's also a side little story going on because his landlord is like an old drunken lady who's trying to swindle him and figures out what his swindle is. And
Madame Gourjean?
They're going to be partners. And I liked her. I thought that little story was good. Well, he fixes her little red wagon pretty good, doesn't he? So, but I don't know if you want to jump into I know what I liked was when they get into, the parlor where he's trying to trick her into thinking her brother is talking to her. He does all these things. He makes like a plaster cast of his face.
Yeah, he does floating. He does a lot of old fashioned seance-y tricks and stuff like that. But but he gets This is a pretty, like you said, a simple movie. But it's like an hour long, and I was leaning forward grinning. You know, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
When I lean forward and start grinning at these movies, it's a good sign because I enjoyed it. I just thought it was good. I mean, if you like these old movies, of course I do, and you do too as well. Yeah, that it's one of the good ones, and I couldn't believe that Victor Halpern made a couple of good movies. He made White Zombie. He made this. So far, that's what I've seen. The other ones I've seen of his were, they were what they were, but. Fun for me, like a moped. Fun to ride till your friends see on them. Yeah. It does have a weak ending, though, climax.
Yeah, for sure.
I was really enjoying it, though. And you know what? It's very funny. Intentionally funny, too. It's got some really good moments where you're just sitting there laughing at it and stuff.
Well, there's some good characters in it, too, you know? And then, but basically kind of what happens is what's her name? The Strangler, she ends up... getting into Roma.
Yeah.
Roma's body. And my favorite part about the whole film starts there because she gets into Roma's body, and Roma's like a real nice, pleasant lady throughout the whole film. She's like not, she's nothing mean about her, nothing overly sexual about her, nothing.
Right.
She's just like a real,
just cool dame.
Genuine, yeah, a dish, nice dish, single, right. Good old dame. And then but once she, they have that seance and the spirit of the Strangler gets in her, or whatever, and it's like she turns instantly. And I was like, I liked it. I was like, she's a good actress because she did seem just like the Strangler. Like her face, her eyebrows, the way she talked and the way she was doing certain things. I was like, this is cool. I liked it. I was like, it really got me going a little bit more. I was like, okay, cool, man. I like this part. Right. So I enjoyed it. And I think she knocked it out of the park with her performance. I really did. So she lures old spiritualist out, right? To his yacht or his boat. Man, that was like the Titanic.
I know. It was a steamship. That wasn't I was like, man, I want to...
2 stacks on it.
I want to start doing seances and shit, It's like, damn, look at
this
that.
Guy's a good swindler, man. He really... I mean, he's got this yacht, but he lives in this like a little shack of an apartment with all his parlor tricks. But I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the size of his yacht, it said White Star.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it did. That was huge. I mean, I did notice that too. I was like, "That's a steamship." I don't know about, but then again, 1933, that might have been a yacht.
That might have been a yacht. Yeah.
I know lots about 1933, but a yacht ownership, I don't know a whole lot about.
Not so sure about.
Not so good about that one.
But so they make it to the yacht, and then she tries to basically strangle the life out of him and get her revenge.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty funny. I did enjoy it because there's some tense moments there. I mean, for nowadays they're not that tense, but for then, it's pretty tense scenes, because you're like, she's playing him really good. I enjoyed that, and he deserved it because he was a jerky McJerkington.
Well, look, the thing with me, the whole hook of this movie is that, and again, I'm going to tease people of 2019. Oh, a strong woman in cinema. Okay, now, granted, she's a villain and stuff, but she's a physical threat to every dude in this movie. I mean, Randolph Scott curled up like a baby and started crying. I mean, it's like, well, of course it happens anyway, but I'm just teasing. But actually, Randolph Scott wasn't given much to do in this movie except walking around with a tuxedo on. But that to me was just like so much fun because they put a whole different spin on it. It wasn't just like her conniving. That's usually it's like a conniving thing. No, she's gonna punch you square in the eye and then strangulate you, and you can't even pull her arm off. No. She's so powerful and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool too, and just the fact I just enjoyed watching because I hadn't seen it before. And they don't make. I say this on the show sometimes. They don't make old movies anymore. No, what we have is what we have. So when I find something I haven't seen, I get giddy. Especially when I start leaning forward into the screen like I am watching this one. But no, I did. I liked it. There's not really much more to say. Like I'm enjoying listening you talk about it because it's like, that happened. But it really is this woman she's pissed off. She's a pissed off lady. Yeah. And she's ready to kill, And of course she wants to be Carol Lombard because why? Well, because she just became a millionaire.
Yeah.
So it all kind of ties up pretty nicely, but Carol Lombard, don't let that stand forever. But I'm just saying it's a good little plot, good little story, good little neat story. I did enjoy the humor of it. I appreciated that. And the acting was pretty good. And it was a decent movie. Again, an hour long. That's what makes the hour and a half movies from back then seem too long.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have a lot of fat to trim off of it. A little bit. All these old movies do have a little bit, but it's forgivable because it comes and goes very quickly. But very much enjoyed it. Now I got this off of this is on the Universal Vault series. So you can just order it from Universal, or you can get on Amazon and order it too.
Sure.
But it looks good for 1933.
Yeah, I thought so.
Movie great. And everything.
I liked Carol Lombard. Once she turned into the Strangler, she just was good. I was like, it really worked, because I have a hard time with that on some of these films with that when they try to do act right,
Right.
It just worked good. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Well, the original, that Vivian Osborne or the Ruth, isn't it? Oh, she's a dick.
Yeah, she was.
Jesus, man. It's like wee. She didn't even look friendly. I mean, she was just a dick. And she was kind of, I don't even say chunky or anything, but she just looked like she has a muscle on her. Like she could probably throw you across the room or something like that. So
strangle you.
Strangulate the hell out of you. Yeah. So I'm going to give this movie a big, great bape up, Mr. Ben. I enjoyed it. I think the performances were good. It's a neat little story. I've liked some of these. Oh, we watched the what was the one with Claude Rains in it? The Clairvoyant.
Yeah.
This one has a lot more teeth than that.
I mean,
it really does. This is a little bit more of a darker film than some of these other supernatural films from back in that time. This one happens to be called Supernatural. Yeah. But, something of the paranormal movies, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
This is real strong for 1933. So I'm going to give it a great bape up. How about you, Mr. Ben Harley?
Yeah, me too. Mostly for what's her name's performance.
Carol Lombard.
I thought it was awesome. Yeah. She really, it was enjoyable.
Right.
And I could suspend disbelief, my friend.
Right.
There it is.
Bunch of pissed off ladies. So, all right, let's get to our next
very
pissed
empowered.
off. Let's get to our next pissed off lady, Mr. Ben Harley. Now, that was 1933, so we're gonna shoot ahead 30 years for a pissed off lady from actually 31 years, 1964.
Yeah.
We have the movie Witchcraft.
Yes.
Let me get you out, movie guy. Give you a short storyline synopsis. Here we go.
Okay.
When her grave is disturbed by modern-day land developers, a 300-year-old witch is accidentally resurrected and terrorizes an English village. Okay, now this is a British movie, again from 1964. Oddly enough, starring Lon Chaney Jr., not the most British guy on the face of the planet, but he plays Morgan Whitlock, who's he's kind of a crazy preacher, I guess. I don't know, crazy is disturbed.
Disturbed, yeah.
Yeah, because he knows that there's a curse floating about.
Yeah.
But this is basically a typical resurrected witch out to fulfill a curse plot. And the witch has a stink eye.
She does.
Oh my God. Now, before you get into it here, that's one thing I did notice about this movie is that this witch was completely powerless, apparently, until you looked at her. Because she will follow your ass down a whole flight of stairs and nothing happens. If you turn around and she goes, you're like, it's a stink eye. Are you hot or not? I can't even tell, so.
No, yeah.
So basically, we've seen this plot in especially British films. Lots of British.
Lots of times, yeah.
The Witches, City of the Dead. I mean, all these movies that was also Horror Hotel, I guess, one with Christopher Lee and stuff. I mean, all of these movies have very similar plots. This one surprised me a little bit because, it was well done. And I detected a bit of sobriety every now and then from Lon Chaney.
Only a little.
Only a little. There were some scenes where clearly he wasn't walking real well and a little stumbly, calling characters by their wrong names and stuff. But there were some moments where he was on. He was on. They must have shot those like at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
he only had a 12-pack. Yeah. Yeah. But I know you like Lon Chaney, but I have to make fun of his alcoholism. It's just it's just what I got to do.
Yeah, he's not that good in this movie. He's all right.
No, he's okay. He does have his moments where he's showing you he can still do a little bit of the tortured soul thing, but really he's just tortured soul because he doesn't have a Schlitz in his hand or something.
He's the only guy without an English accent. The only person I think in the whole film, right? That doesn't have an English accent.
Yeah, well, yeah,
pretty sure.
Absolutely, yeah. So what'd you think of Witchcraft, Mr. Ben Harley?
I was excited. You know, we had Lon Chaney Jr. and I was excited, but I know, being a Lon Chaney Jr. fan, I know sometimes it's hit or miss, and it could be in the same scene. You know, and but I was excited about this. I thought, oh, cool, Witchcraft, Lon Chaney Jr. in it. You know, I thought maybe he was, and it started okay with him, but yet his whole role in the movie was just yelling at people,
Yeah, he was upset.
Yelling at people. He yelled like all the time, man. I was like, these poor Brits are probably thinking, oh, this guy, okay, Mr. Chaney, it's okay.
Got a stiff upper lip, for God's sake.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
You spotted tea. No.
Right. He's frantic the whole movie.
Yes. Because they're bulldozing over family burials. Plots, right? And that's what unleashes the stink eye, man.
Oh, my God, the witch. Yeah, the stink eye witch.
So no wonder he was so upset, you know?
Right.
But he, like, his daughter's in love with one of the other. It's you got a little bit of a Hatfields and the McCoys thing going, right?
Yeah.
Little West Side Story action, too, you know?
Yeah, there's a bit of West Side Story in it.
Yeah. So
Romeo and Juliet, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So... there's some tension there, not a lot, but a little.
A little bit.
But
I mean, there's whenever like it isn't the son of the one family dating a Whitlock or dating like the other
Lon Chaney's daughter.
Yes, and they're like, we've never had a person under this roof, that family under this roof. Well, it's about time we start. There you go, Mr. Open-minded.
And that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So, I know basically the witch is unleashed and starts killing a lot of the folk just a lot of the family. Not the Whitlocks.
No.
The others. Yeah. Because that was the curse originally, was against the other family, right? And they burned her at the stake or buried her before she could carry out the curse. So now she's back.
Right.
To carry out
and Chaney's running around just trying to warn everybody.
Yeah.
That she's back and she's after us all because we killed her.
And he's big and menacing in this one too, man. Yeah. Like big and menacing, like where he I can imagine some of these seriously, and I'm just talking off movie, but like him coming barging in on some of these Brits and they're like cheerio and pip pip and all that, and during the film, because there's one point where he comes in after and he finds his daughter with her boyfriend or whatever, and he has nothing. He has it's not even. There's no question of can we talk about this or nothing.
Right.
He comes.
He's aggressive. He's assertive.
Very much more than usually he is. Once or twice in a film, but this it's like almost every scene. He's just He's ready to fight, Timo.
Fight!
Yeah, that's what he wants, But that's okay too, whatever, But this is one of those Lon Chaney Jr. ones that I don't really. There's not much of him in it, and not enough
that's the thing.
Of him in it
right
for me to really
That's what I was going to say because it could use more Chaney, but I know why there isn't more Chaney.
Sure,
it's not a secret why they probably had to drag him on there and force him to get those lines out, and some of them weren't delivered even close to correctly. It's pretty obvious when you're watching. It sticks out because everyone else is being very professional doing their job. And that's the thing. This movie it's acted well. I mean, it's made with a steady hand. And then they got Chaney on set. They got him to just as a star power. But doggy boy, you could tell they were wrestling with his sobriety in that movie. You could tell. And here's a couple things, though. I mean, here's something now I'm a little off subject here, but something that I thought about when there's some catacombs like there's like a wine cellar and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe it looked like it was kind of below a crypt, which is I don't know if I want to keep my wine underneath corpses. I'm kind of a wine guy, and I've never heard of that. Not sure if that helps the wine air out, being under like decomposing by. I'm not sure. But now I'm going to admit this right now. It's not applicable to this movie because I answered my own question. But how many times in these old movies do they go into like tunnels or like a cave or just any kind of like catacomb of any kind? And there's a bunch of fucking torches lit on the walls.
Oh, Timo, thank
you. Who the hell
like
lights these torches?
That's, you know what? One of my.
No, it was explained in this movie. This movie was explained.
Oh, thank you.
Well, because they were down in a room doing their satanic mumbo jumbo, and they all had torches, so they could light them on the way down. I got that, but it's too many times in movies, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yes,
too many times in movies that I see this.
No, that's my worst. Pet peeve, because it happens in a lot of the mummy movies and stuff too.
Yeah.
You're like, this crypt's been closed for 10,000 years.
Yeah.
And how the hell is it? They're still got torches.
And it's not just one. It's a whole
room
gaggle of them. It's like it's tons of them. So it just highlighted
Thank you, Timo. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought I might be the only one.
No, I highlighted that. This film was directed by Don Sharp, who did Kiss of the Vampire, Curse of the Fly, which you didn't like. I liked.
Yeah.
Rasputin. The one with Christopher Lee in it. What Waits Below, which is a 70s kind of monster flick. And actually, Mr. Ben Harley, we got Brides of Fu Manchu. He also directed Death Wheelers, which you just had a Death Wheeler issue, I think, at a wrestling match. So
I got away before it got dealt to me.
Just yell Don Sharp is after him. Maybe you'll get something there. Little funny moment while you're watching this movie. So one of the characters gets into a call box in England, right? That's like their phone booth, basically. They have them call boxes. I did a funny thing in a call box in London. I think now when you pick up a call box, it goes directly to the police. I didn't really know that.
Oh, boy,
so I took a funny picture of me laughing, like talking about those call boxes. So Angie and I, like about 10, 15 years ago, we were in London and stuff. So Angie's looking at the movie, and we're sitting there, and she says, well, I guess back then the call boxes weren't red. I said, well, I don't really know. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, well, honey, this movie's in black and white. She started fucking dying laughing. I go, Now, the only other time I heard something that funny, okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
Angie.
yeah. Like this movie was in black and white. She's like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm like, yeah. And the only other time I heard something that funny was Fragile Porcelain Ice's singer, his old girlfriend, okay?
Yeah.
Who, I'm going to tell you this, is a speech pathologist. I said speech pathologist, right?
Pathologist, yeah.
His old girlfriend looked at him one time and says, what language do they speak in England? And he said English. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of those. That was one of those. I thought that was funny. I had to write it down, and I'm like, as soon as that happened, I think part of her laughter was, "I'm going to hear this on the show, aren't I?" Yeah. You're gonna hear that. That's my entertainment becomes everyone else's entertainment. I throw myself under the bus constantly, so she gets thrown under once in a while. Too.
Yeah, it's okay. My oldest daughter, when she went to Thailand or whatever there, when she was working for Hooters, she went for her.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you're going to be flying right over the North Pole. And she said, that's a place? I said, well, you might not find. I said, you might not find Santa Claus here, but yes, there's a South Pole too. Did you know that? Oh God, I felt really.
Well, I knew there was a South one. I didn't know there was a North one.
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
That's like a cousin of mine told me that that he knew that Santa Claus was a myth. He said myth, but he's a nerd.
Myth.
He goes, I knew Santa Claus was a myth. I did not know the Easter Bunny was. I looked at him like, God, out of those two, which one's more feasible to you? I mean, really, seriously. I know they're both weird, but which one's more feasible to you, the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus? So that was
So.
Well, there you go, Angel. We made you feel a little bit better now.
Yeah,
you're not the only one,
yep.
but you're a turkey. That was a turkey move. Yeah, that was like. I mean, I thought she was making a bad joke. I looked at her. She's like, I guess back then they didn't have red. I was like, well, I don't know. You know, I don't really know what color it is. Black and white, and you know I'm colorblind, right? And I know this. Yeah. So, but
so that's even worse for you.
Or as Chance would say, it's not black and white; it's gray and white.
Gray
All right, gray and black. Gray and black, that's what you say. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, Mr. Magenta, I got you. Okay. Let's see here.
Good
but
stuff.
I actually liked this movie, I think, more than you did. I kind of like when we watch I'm feeling when we watch The Witches with Joan Fontaine in it.
Yeah.
I'm suspecting that you feel about this movie the way I felt about that movie. I was bored out of my skull watching that movie. This movie, I don't know if it was waiting for Chaney to fall through like a fake window by accident or something like that, or like kind of trip over his feet. It happened a couple of times, you know. Wondering like, let's see how they're going to get him sitting in the scene, you know, so he can get through his lines or whatever. I don't know if it was that or just the fact that it was a little different than I thought it would be. For some reason, I thought this movie was a little bit less of a black and white film and more of pushing toward like a 70s kind of feel, but it was not.
It was getting there though a little bit. Yeah,
well, it didn't. It still was black and white. Still had the late 50s, early 60s attire, and stuff like that. So it was a little more in my wheelhouse than I thought it was going to be. Let's put it to you that way. I couldn't decide whether the witch was hot or really creepy ugly. Could not figure that out.
Yeah, I think she had this weird thing going.
Yeah,
she really did.
Yeah,
she did.
I mean, she was given the stink eye. She was definitely kind of ugly. So
that
might have been her superpower against me. I'm not sure, but
possibly.
Yes, I'm going to give this movie a mild grape apes up. But it was okay. I think it might have just hit me at the right time. It was very similar to The Witches. Actually, The Witches with Joan Fontaine, maybe I didn't like because it was in color.
True.
Very similar, but it very similar scope of a film and things like that. But it's just something about it. I thought it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't terrible. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
I can't poop on it because it's got my man in it. I can't. Even though his performance was not.
You know, puke on it or.
No, I'm just gonna give it
out
like,
on it or?
Like I'm not even on the fence. I guess I'm on the other side of the fence, the bad side. I can't poop on it though. Yeah. I just, it was okay. It was all right. And you know me, I like me some Lon Chaney Jr., but okay, I'm more of a Wolfman. I love the Wolfman, and I think that was his greatest achievement. Mm-hmm. But being in Of Mice and Men, and you can't take that from him. I don't care what anybody says
you're right
about
him.
That.
You're
you
right
can't
about that.
take that performance from that guy. It's one of the greatest performances ever. And so was Burgess Meredith.
I was about to say, yes, both of them.
And Burgess Meredith.
Absolutely.
It's just great. You know, right. I still, when I first saw that movie when I was younger, I was riveted to that film.
Yeah,
riveted.
It's a great movie.
You know,
it's absolutely.
And so,
yeah. I know you're struggling there, but you really didn't like the film a whole lot, did you?
No, not really.
Okay.
It was okay. I can't poop on it, but it just wasn't good for me. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. It's just one of them okay ones.
Right. Well, we both really enjoyed Supernatural, Carol Lombard and her vice-like grip. And then, let's see here, Witchcraft. I kind of split on it. It might have been a mood thing for me. I might have been okay with it. So, all right. Well, Ben Harley, next week, I got a couple things playing next week that tie in to the past couple weeks, like over the next couple weeks, especially with tie in. So I'm going to leave everyone just on pins and needles. I know it's going to be hard to sleep. I apologize for that. But just wait till next week, and then we're going to tie in some loose ends that we've had over the last few weeks. How's that sound to you? So until then,
great.
Mr. Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.